On Rural Queensland Today, across the Resonate Broadcast Network, employers need to change their thinking on workers from different backgrounds. This is one of the real big things to try and look at where and how we stop this labour shortage in rural and regional Australia. Agri Labour Australia Regional Manager Michelle Sleeth joins us this morning. Michelle, thanks so much for being with us.
No worries at all. Thanks for having me.
We really we've got a real issue in agriculture in Australia at the present moment, and trying to fix it is not as simple as clicking the fingers. But having an open mind and trying to look at maybe some different ways as an employer that you can make it more attractive is a starting point to try and, I suppose, ease this labour shortage that's occurring at the moment.
Correct. Look, what we're seeing, it's not always about the money. It's heavily focused around accommodation. A lot of our clients that we deal with are regional Australia. They've either let their accommodation go on farm for various different reasons over the years, or what have you. So we're finding it really hard to find housing for these staff when they want to move their families out from city areas. I guess since COVID, we've been very lucky in the fact that ag kept going within that whole the whole shutdown because it was considered essential services. So to move a family out from Brisbane, Melbourne, or Sydney to a regional area and there's no housing, well, that poses a big risk for them to even move out, for example.
So can you talk to me and are you seeing, and you say this, that there is an appetite for people to want to move out to the bush and take those kind of jobs, or is there still a lack of awareness in the metropolitan areas that there are so many jobs available regionally? And then when it comes to that, you've got to look at, can I move my family out there? Can the accommodation, is it worthy? And I'm not just rolling the swag under a truck every night. Am I going to have internet
Correct.
services? Am I going to be able to get my weekends and being able to go and get my stores in town and not have to be 500 kilometres away? Is that the real issues at the moment?
Yeah, look, we're seeing more and more applications from, city-based families, if that's what you want to call them, because during COVID, in regional Australia, especially Queensland, we were very lucky in the fact that, we didn't have the restrictions that the rest of, Melbourne and Sydney had. So we could move quite freely within our state quite easily. And when you're living on a farm, it's a beautiful way to bring up your family, and you have access to all different services regionally. So I think for people to move from a city area, they need to, yes, housing, internet's a big thing also, because let's be honest, a lot of these, with COVID, a lot of these businesses, they've moved to online working from home. So, the wife could be working online, so she needs good internet services and also good schooling. So in regional Australia, we're very lucky in the fact that we have really good access to regional schooling. So people just want to know their kids can go to school, they can still get their groceries in the local supermarket, and there is things to do with the family on the weekends, that they don't have to travel 600 k's to do.
Yeah, you're dead right. So what should we be looking at? I mean, we've had the loss of backpackers. I know we've got these ag visas, but yet, to me, they haven't got to fruition in that sense. I understand it just hasn't happened as quickly as we thought. There is the Pacific Labour Scheme and the seasonal work program. And now that the international borders are just opening up, you would expect a fair few would start to think and feel that they want to come back to Australia. But in the short term, what people listening to us this morning, what should they be looking and trying to do?
Look, towns have to bound together. Like I live in Gundawinding, we're very lucky in the fact that our Chamber of Commerce have done some excellent video footage of our town, promoting our town. So other regional towns need to get on board with that and promote the area in which they live to attract these families out here. With, like you said, the ag visa, it looks like it may not even get there till August now, they're talking. Yes, backpackers are flowing back into Australia at a rate about 60 a day at the moment. Pre-COVID, we had 200,000 in Australia working. We were sort of down to 20,000 by the end of COVID, with about 2,000 in Queensland, if you want to break it down state by state. So, I mean, definitely we're seeing an influx of backpackers come in, which we're utilising at the moment for the cotton ginning season. But look, it's really up to promoting this in the city-based areas. I think you'll see a major shift now from those head offices where people were working in the city basically, and then with COVID, they've been allowed to work from home, that people have realised that, a lot of our jobs can be done remotely, which then we can push them to move out to regional areas and bring their families with them. So, the wife can still continue to work in her role remotely if she can, and the husband can get a job on farm or vice versa.
Yeah, and that's the big thing, isn't it? If you can, if schools are close, and you're right, councils and Chamber of Commerce and communities and need to make it and be proactive. I know there was a town of Burra in New South Wales that they got together and they needed a doctor and they needed a butcher and they needed and they just went and they went themselves as a town, didn't wait for people. They made it attractive and families moved there, and then it creates, and then job creation, it just rolls and rolls and rolls and rolls, and then you're looking at a place where, you're in a better position. Well, this is from ag workers as well. There's got to be some onus on the employer, and I say that with the deepest respect to people. I understand how tough it is, but you've got to be able to make it appealing, good accommodation. Gone are the days where you could just expect it was a rite of passage that people wanted to work for you. You've actually got to make it appealing for all people to work with you. It's just not like it used to be anymore.
That's right. And look, young people that apply for jobs now, there's such a big social presence online. So they want to know, they want to see photos of the farm they're going to. We used a lot of irrigation staff this year, and they were UNE students, which were great, which fitted in perfectly for their studies online. So, and I think the way the universities, are we moving away now from that face-to-face learning, going to online? If that's the case, well then we could have more of these uni students out in regional Australia working on a farm, and studying 2 days a week or whatever it is that works around their study plan. So, and look, with Gundawindi, we're lucky too. We started our own jobs board. So all of our local businesses apply, they put all their ads up there, and we have people applying from Brisbane and Sydney, and because we're spending a lot of time on promoting Gundawindi as a lovely place to live, COVID-free place, raise your family and come and do your sports out here because we've got it all here. So, we're 4 hours from Brisbane. So I think there's a lot of onus on the farmer now, or the client, if you want to call them corporate farms, to put that time and effort into developing a website. What's their family about? What's their job going to entail? I see a lot of people going and taking farm jobs, and then the whole job skill set that they were asked to sign up for changes. So, for example, you might put them on as a tractor driver spreading fertiliser, and next minute they're down the back irrigating cotton, which is fine, but we just need to know that from day one. So everyone's very, there's that role clarity from day one of what their job looks like.
Sure.
I think that's where we lose people if they don't even know exactly what they're looking at. So if we can have video footage of that and what their job may look like from a day to day, well, they're more inclined to apply and stay.
Yeah, well said. Really appreciate your time. Agri Labour Australia Regional Manager. What's the website for people to get in contact with you, Michelle?
www.agrilabouraustralia.com.au.
agrilabouraustralia.com.au. Michelle Sleeth, appreciate your time.
Thank you very much for having me.
Good on you. Rural Queensland Today on the Resonate Broadcast Network.